Welcome to the Art Beauty Podcast, where we tell the real truth about the fake shit. Hi, everyone. I'm Amber, and today I am joined by the fabulous and gorgeous Mai Nozoe. She is the founder of Beautéjaponica. She has an incredibly gorgeous scalp serum that we're going to be talking all about. Welcome to the show today, Mai.
Thank you, Amber. Such a pleasure to be here.
It's so nice to have you here. Now, Mai, I love this. So we found out we have a connection through a mutual friend who you used to be best friends with. And then I became best friends with her in her college years, but you knew her way back when.
Right. So Megan was my best friend in high school and we were inseparable. She was a beautiful blonde girl. We were about the same size. She had beautiful blonde hair. I had black hair, but we shared everything. And it was just such, we had such great times together in high school. And so her friends are my friends. And so I'm so excited to meet you, Amber.
Oh, it's so excited to meet you too, because, I was friends with her in college and still to this day. And she is a lot of fun. So I can only imagine the high school must have been amazing. But you actually, it's interesting because we're talking today about a product that you created, a scalp serum, but your background is really in the fashion world. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I've been in the fashion industry for about 20 years, and I started out, and essentially my role has always been in the creative side of things. And so I started out at Michael Kors and worked in various companies in New York, such as Moda Operandi, which is an online startup, and Alice and Olivia. And in all of those companies, I was responsible for starting their creative division. So a lot of my role was about being behind the camera and actually working with photographers, hair and makeup stylists, and working with, the fashion designers to communicate creative direction. So a lot of what happened behind the scenes on more of an aesthetic side of the hair business and makeup business. And so I had been doing that for about 20 years, and probably about 7 years ago, I was on set and one of the hairstylists had said to me that, I had some hair thinning in the back. And I was like, oh, I don't notice it because, it's in the back of my hair. And
Right.
so she was giving me this like suggestions for voluminizer, and I really didn't think about it. But then what I remembered and, what I was so conscious about was a sensitive scalp. And I've had a sensitive scalp for as long as I remember. And I would say, I had tried everything. I would try tea tree, apple cider vinegar, which is really popular for sensitive scalps. And nothing really worked. And I just remember every time the seasons would change, I could predict it because of my sensitive scalp.
Now,
And
but you're talking about your sensitive scalp, but was it also, were you noticing hair loss? Because listen, I also at one point worked, in fashion, and it is a grueling job, high stress.
It is a grueling job. Exactly.
So were you noticing hair loss specifically? And do you think it was sort of stress related?
Absolutely. So, I mean, this was around my mid 30s, super stressed, going in fashion shows and in and out. And there's just like 10 minutes to do, 3 months amount of work in those runway shows.
Right. And also, when you're doing stuff like that, it's going to take, and I think nowadays we realize that more, right? Our hair is a reflection of what's going on, not only outside, external, but also what's going on inside. So if you're not getting the nutrition, if you're not getting the sleep, if you're not getting enough relaxation, your hair is generally the first thing to go, because your body, even though we think it's super important, your body looks at hair as like a non-essential, part of the body. Right. So if it's trying to hang on to nutrients, if it's trying to nourish itself, it's going to protect your organs first. Your skin's going to go, but your hair is kind of generally the first place that we start to see our body's stress come out.
Right. And so what I think what's happening on a scientific level is essentially all of that stress is, coming into our hair at the follicular level. Yeah. And when you think about it, your follicles, they start to reduce as you age. So this is, we're going through hormonal changes at the same time, right?
Right.
If anywhere you're starting after your 30s, childbearing years for women, and even for men during the 30s is the time when you start seeing your follicles really reduce, and stress is really part of that. And once you have all this stress, your follicles just continue to reduce more and more, and there's times when that the follicles just close up, and that's when hair doesn't continue to grow as much.
Right. Which is, like we said, devastating for those of us. It really is.
Right.
I've said it many times on this podcast, a great hair day or a good hair day is a great everything else day. Right. And your hair, by the way, I have to
Right.
say, is stunning. It is
And
stunning.
so is yours.
Well, I have now been using the serum. I'm really excited to talk about it. One of the first things I noticed about it, actually, before we get into the serum itself, how did you then jump from fashion into creating this hair care scalp serum?
Right. So, after I went through this period of, this hairstylist telling me, okay, like you probably need some help here. And, I thought back and I looked at my heritage. I'm Japanese American. And I looked at our diets. And in Japan, there's a lot of seaweed in our diet. And my mother used to always say when we would eat seaweed, this is really nutrition for your hair. And I found that, as part of like a really memorable part of what I thought when I think back of hair. And so I really wanted to study that further. And there are also these like really interesting practices in Japan that are not always available here. And one of the things that I love about going back to Japan the most is it's called a head spa, and it's actually like a scalp and head massage.
Oh, yes. I love a head
And
massage.
it's the best thing. And
Yeah.
so, you know, combining all of that, I really felt like I should go back to Japan and really figure out, what we could do, what we could find for the scalp that would be really helpful. And this was really a personal journey at first, but I ended up finding a manufacturer there that is multi-generational, scientist that's been around with their business for over 100 years and working with different, large companies there in the hair care business. And we spent 3 years together developing a formulation that was, that was created by researching some of the most, one of the most efficient active ingredients in Japan for hair health that is natural, cruelty-free, and vegan. So
Now,
that's how this
is this
came
all
about.
though a seaweed based ingredient? Was that all derived from like the seaweed or kelp?
Sure. So the main active ingredients in the TOHI serum is called 5-chiso complex. It's a proprietary blend of 5 different kinds of seaweeds.
Okay.
But then there's also 8 other active ingredients that's also good for your hair health as well, and is natural.
So now going back to what your mother used to say about seaweed and hair, do you believe, or in your research, do you feel like a diet that is high in seaweed is beneficial to our hair? Have you found any research that supports that?
Well, definitely. I mean, ingesting seaweed is, that's actually, beyond the topical aspect. Ingesting it is definitely the most important part of, feeding our own body with nutrition. And so seaweed in itself, it has all of the vitamins. So vitamin A, B12, C, E,
Right.
iodine, keratin, calcium, magnesium, omega-3. All of
Okay.
these are really great. All of these are really great resources for your health. So regardless of whether you want to eat it for your hair, it's definitely good for your entire body, but it has nutritional benefits, especially for your hair as well.
So, okay, now when we're talking about consuming seaweed,
Mhm.
Like, is it enough to get like your, sushi roll that's wrapped in seaweed? Is there certain kinds of seaweed we need? Do we need to be eating it in large amounts?
Well, I'm not a nutritionist.
Right. Right. But,
So,
from what you found and
yeah,
from what
sure,
you
sure.
think, yeah.
Um, there's definitely different qualities of seaweed, and that's really kind of what we were studying when we created this formulation. And so, seaweed is available throughout the world, but there's about 12,000 species of seaweed. And
Wow.
yeah, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, the reason why we went back to Japan is because it's part of their diet there. And so, in certain areas, aquatic cultivation or the farming system is, a little bit more sophisticated and in certain areas. So, yes, I think it's really important for people here and all over the world to consume seaweed. But, I think you also just need to be careful of what kind of seaweed, because not all seaweed is the same.
Got it. And again, I know you're not a nutritionist, so I don't mean to put you on the spot, but do
Yeah, yeah,
you,
yeah.
if just from your own research, are there certain kinds that are preferable if we wanted to add them to our diet that you know of?
Sure. So the seaweed that you see in Japanese sushi is that's called nori.
Okay.
And nori is one of the types of brown algae that that you can consume. Um, they have that available in like
Right.
snackable sizes in Asian grocery stores, and I definitely recommend going to your grocery stores and looking for edible seaweed, because that's what I have for snacks. And
Okay.
it's really healthy for you. It doesn't have it's natural and it's nutritious. And I know in Japanese culture people give it to their children, and so it's a
Okay.
really positive. It has so many nutritious benefits, and I think that you start off young, you can see the benefits from your hair when you get older as well. So,
Oh, I love that tip. So adding a little seaweed in and nori is good. Is there one that's even better, like that you feel is more nutritious that maybe we don't know about?
well, there's all different kinds. There's like wakame, which if you have seaweed salad in some of the Asian restaurants, they have the wakame in their salads.
Okay.
And that is also part of this TOHI serum.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
so, there's 5 different types. And there is, when we call it brown algae is actually has scientific studies in the United States stating its benefits from a molecule. Sorry, it's a sugar starch called fucoidan. If you look up
Okay.
fucoidan, it actually has anti-aging benefits for your skin and your hair, and it's been proven in science here. So brown algae is really good for reducing your wrinkles, protecting your skin from UV rays, helping support hair growth, and reducing dandruff, and keeping your hair and your scalp anti-inflammatory as well.
I love that. Well, I mean, you said before it is loaded with antioxidants. So you're going to get those benefits. Now, when it comes to scalp health, I was so intrigued by this because we are starting to see a lot more focus on the scalp, right? Not just the
Right,
hair, but
right,
scalp as like another place that we need to apply, in a sense, skincare. So
right,
we'll call it scalp care. But a lot of what I've seen out there is scrubs, right? There's a lot of scrubs on the
right,
market to help you exfoliate, but there's not a lot of serums.
right.
So what made you sort of think, wait a minute, why are we not doing this?
Well, just going back to my story, it came out of need,
Yeah,
from personal need of needing to tone and balance my my scalp.
right.
And so you can find shampoo and conditioner and certain amounts of scrubs, but think about what you do for your face. After
Right.
you exfoliate your face, you still need that hydration, the toner and the serums and the creams.
Yeah.
So that's really why I started out with a serum, because after everybody shampoos and conditions, some people scrub, which is great. And the scrubs are important to exfoliate your scalp, but then you really need the nutrients to put inside of your scalp and really inside of your follicles and kind of massage it in so that you can hydrate and balance your scalp.
Right. And I have to say, so we met in person, which was so nice. And you gave me a bottle of this beautiful TOHI serum. And the first thing that surprised me, which by the way, a little of this goes a long way because I've been using this
Yeah.
since we met a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like there's only because you only need it like a couple
You only
drops.
need one. Yeah, exactly.
But one of the things that I was so fascinated by is that unlike some of the other products that you would associate with your hair, it's not at all oily. So this is
No.
like a very, I actually used some right before our show today. So you can
Yeah,
put this into your dry hair. You can put it
exactly.
in the morning. Like it doesn't have to be this nighttime thing, although it's lovely at night. And I've done it on Tom a few times to get that massage in and to really have that self-care moment. But I guess it's not oil based.
No, it's not oil based, it's water based.
Okay.
And I think the reason why we chose water based is because oil can be really heavy on certain kinds of hair.
Sure.
And the idea that we had with the serum is so that you can actually wear it even before you go out and, just spritz it on and you feel like really great. And it's supposed to be a refresher as well.
Yeah.
So, when I see certain things on the market that's oil based, I think that's fine, but you may have to wash it out of your hair, and this is something that you can just go out with.
And you bring up such a great point because for those of us, listen, we know like anything, right? Skincare, hair
Yeah.
care, scalp care, consistency is key. But for those of us gals who like to wash our hair like twice a week, maybe even
Right.
less,
Yeah,
you don't want to be putting something on that's going to make it feel greasy. And I think that
exactly.
of
Exactly.
all of it, because I'm starting to see a few more scalp products out there.
Yeah.
But what I really was drawn to with this was the fact that you can wear it every single day and it's not going to weigh down. It's not going to make your hair feel greasy. And then you're actually going to see like it's going to help, I don't know if we can legally say this, but it will help promote that hair stimulation and maybe lead to longer, fuller, thicker looking hair. Are we allowed to say that? I know we can't make medical claims, right? We have to be careful. But that's the point, right? Is a healthy scalp is going to have better
Exactly.
hair production.
Exactly. And that's really what it's meant to do. So hydrating and balancing your scalp is so important. That's
Yeah.
the first step to getting healthy hair.
Okay.
And once you start massaging your hair, then you're adding an extra benefit to it by bringing blood circulation into your scalp.
Right.
And that's what they say helps stronger and thicker hair. So it's a combination.
So what is the actual right way to use this for people at home who might be interested in purchasing this? Like, what is
Mhm.
the best way to use this product?
So the best way I would say is to use it on a dry scalp, and you
Okay.
can do it in the morning, before you go out, or in the evening, which is when I like to do it,
Yeah.
and use it and do a 4-minute scalp massage at the
Okay.
same time. And they say 4 minutes of scalp massage actually does help promote hair growth. And that
Okay.
is a study, that's not
Right.
something that we studied in the company, but that's something that's been studied before. And what I think about the 4 minutes is really less to do with the hair growth and more to do with getting in touch with your own body for your own wellness, relieving tension, all of those things that, stresses you out throughout the day. By massaging it in your scalp, you're
Yeah.
really feeling like all these toxins come out and like really bringing in those happy hormones.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love a good scalp massage. I'm surprised that there's not more places, that are traditional massage parlors or spas here that don't offer just a scalp massage because it's like my favorite part of getting my hair done is like when they'll wash your hair and give you nice massage. It's epic. Um, so when we're using this for that four
Mhm.
minute massage, how do you suggest applying that? Because I know you told me a little of this goes a long way.
Right. So there is a droplet,
Hmm.
there is a dropper in there that, you can have 1 or 2 drops, or you can use the entire dropper full. I don't think that's actually necessary. Right.
Right.
Exactly. That in
You,
itself is plenty. And you apply it to your scalp
right.
in areas. Yes. And you should
Right.
feel kind of like a tingling, a light sensation, and it
Right.
should feel refreshing.
Yeah.
And the most important thing about massaging your scalp is that you want to make sure you use the pads of your fingers
Okay.
and don't scratch. You want to, go against your scalp in circular motion.
Oh,
And it's so important. It
feels
actually
so
feels
nice.
really good. um, Great to do it on yourself. If you're feeling generous, you can do it for your partner.
Right. Right.
But really doing it in circular motion, just make sure that you're not rubbing, because then you can, hurt your hair and kind of pull them
Sure.
out. So do it gently and do it in a way that you feel good.
And now, when you started using this product, what did you
Mhm.
notice in your own personal hair transformation?
So, I mean, as I was saying, in my mid 30s, my hair was really, it was much thinner. It didn't feel like it had a lot of life.
Yeah.
But as I continue to, do this research and use these ingredients and use the serum, it's really helped, you know, the hair loss has reduced. My hair is growing, in ways that, in my 30s it did, and I'm in my 40s now. And I'm just, the feeling that you get when you have healthy hair is, it's just a really great feeling of confidence, of
Sure.
of feeling, at peace with yourself. And so all of those things of, it's not just the serum, but really taking care of your scalp and massaging it and, loving it.
Right.
Um, that's really all made me feel like it's just, a much better hair experience, much better body experience, and a wellness experience.
I love that. And I love that tip for people because I think that we
Yeah.
need reminders and
Yeah,
sometimes an excuse to have that 4 minutes to ourselves at night, to have that
exactly.
little self-care moment.
Exactly.
So for people who are interested in purchasing this, where can they go?
Sure. So right now it's on our website. It's beautejaponica.com. And can share the information with you at the bottom of the screen. And you can also find us on Instagram at Beautéjaponica. And if there's any questions that anybody has, I'm really happy to answer them directly as well. So the whole idea is to get more people interested in taking care of their scalp.
I absolutely love that, Mai. And at home, if you're listening right now, if you've got more questions you want me to pass along to Mai, I am always happy to do that. You can always email me at hello@artbeautypodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and right here on YouTube at Art Beauty Podcast. And remember, take those 4 minutes. This is such a lovely serum. You can use it every day. It will not weigh your hair down. And as always, we will see you next Tuesday. Bye.